about this situation right now. So it's the reset. It is the reset of the week of December 1st. And I know that at the time I'm making this recording, I think there's some like major Twitch thing going on for a charity, which you should go check out. Super cool. But this recording is going to be up for quite a while because this is basically my guardian journal, if you want to say that. Let me go ahead and do some adjustments here for the audio so you can hear me a little bit better. Drop that down. Drop that down. Okay. So, as we all know, since Destiny 2 launch, Bungie has actively handicapped anybody who has multiple copies of a character class of any kind. If you have two Warlocks, if you have two Titans, if you have two Hunters, if you have three of each, if you have three of any of those, even. Being that the first one in the rotation will go ahead and get the normal drops of powerful loot and stuff like that, access to Pinnacle awards, and also affected by is reduced as you have multiples going off on that. Um, and I'm usually pretty okay with that because I don't play my alternate hunter really except for anything but the gunsmith bounties, believe it or not. And I don't see the point in making. I don't really enjoy playing the warlock, and this is something I've mentioned many times over and over. And here's the deal: it's not that I dislike the class. It's just that everything you do is about rhythm. It's about timing. It's about style. And when you're playing a game which is your source of recreation, a game like Destiny basically is just supposed to be it's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to be able to enjoy what you're doing, and if you want to do more, then hey, you should be rewarded to do by doing more. That's the point. Give me a second. So anyway, um, and yeah, I could keep playing my main hunter over and over and over and over and over again, doing all the things. Um, but you can only get one set of bounties done a day, and if I want to go ahead and advance my seasonal ranking or my artifact, or if I want to continue farming for loot to try and getting a better roll on the guns, because I mean we're not allowed to pick our rolls. I mean it's the fucking new golden age. It's a fucking goddamn new city age, and we're still scavenging for fucking hand-me-downs. I mean, we had the black armory going, and even then it was random rolls on the guns. I mean, it that part of it can be kind of fun, but it really does feed into this whole gambler hoarder kind of dysfunctional dynamic, and I'm really not happy with it. And it's kind of like the same reason why I'm not happy with the fact that Bungie actively handicaps you if you prefer a single class over the other two. I don't understand what the big hangup is. I've yet to find any actual documentation that clearly states with numbers, with actual concrete numbers, why it's better to play all three classes than it is to play three of one class. If you want to get really, really good at a class, then you're really, really good at a class. You get to be known as, hey, let's get this guy. He's really good at playing a hunter. We want a hunter for this strike. Or, hey, let's get this guy. He's really good at playing, a warlock. Hey, let's get this girl. She's really good at playing a titan. You get a reputation for it. I can remember back in Destiny 1, we used to rotate our three character classes. And a lot of times what would happen? Oh, hey, Hako, because I was Hakobot back then. Hey, Hakobot, why don't you play your Warlock, and then we'll go ahead and reload into the raid, and you can play your Hunter and get loot for your Hunter. It's like, well, okay. And they wanted my Warlock because of all the different abilities at the time we were doing the Solar Grenade cheese. So then we'd do the raid, and again, shock and surprise, half the fucking team would peace out. Well, you can't really three-man the Vault of Glass back then the way that was. That early on in Destiny 1's history, you couldn't three-man the Vault of Glass. Now later on you could, as we got more powerful and more combos were made available to us. Uh, and it really kind of pissed me off because hey, I wanted this run, this raid run on my hunters so that he could get some armor because armor at the time. wasn't infusable or anything like that, and that wasn't a thing. You had to grind, the activities to try and get the loot for your character. And I've always liked playing the hunter. I did main a Titan in Destiny 1 for a long time, but then around the time of House of Wolves, I went straight back to the hunter, and I kind of never really looked back. I did have the other two classes. I did play the other two classes, but if it was going to be pinnacle activity, as it's called now, or if it was end game activity like Iron Banner or Trials or whatever, it was on my hunter, and that's just the way it is. And it's like I said, it's kind of like, if you're allergic to wearing wool, why am I being made to wear a wool sweater? And yeah, fun fact, IRL, I am allergic to wool sweaters. So I don't wear wool sweaters. I wear cotton or fleece, made from synthetic materials. Uh, and, can there be a synthetic hunter? I mean, a synthetic warlock? I don't think that's an option. So, if the whole deal is that they don't want us power leveling or grinding, flash news here, Bungie, they don't care. There are guys out there who will power level whatever they want. There used to be a drop ship here, a jump ship here, back in D1, by the way, just for all you new lights out there. That's what this crater means. And there's actually a piece of the artifact right there. I think, yeah, that's a piece of the hull left behind. I just realized that they got rid of that. They pulled that out finally. But anyway, um, so like I said, I mean, if anybody out there, I mean, I'm still looking for it. I've not found anything. All I find is like, commentary from the developers about, well, yeah, we're going to make it so that, if you have multiples of a character, it's going to slow it down, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, yeah, but why? Really, what? Why should I be made to wear that wool sweater that I'm allergic to, that I don't feel all that comfortable in, when, I do much better on a hunter than I do on a warlock and a titan? And it's not like I haven't given them both the proper effort. Okay, and I am known to be said that, hey, it doesn't really matter what gear you have, what class you play, what weapons you play. If you're skilled enough in the game and you understand its mechanics well enough, you can be viable with a pair of sharp sticks. Um, and that's really just, that's my perspective, my attitude. But I have tried playing a warlock, and I'll tell you something. I fail. It's been what, 5 years? 5 years I've given the warlock a chance, and I've played it, and I've even gotten into the idea that that's all I'm going to play. I've spent seasons playing just the warlock, forcing myself to do things with it, forcing myself to, to get used to it, to get to adapt to it and everything, and I still can't do it. So what does that mean? That means that I end up playing one character a week. That's it. I don't go any farther than that. Um, and if that's the case, then so be it. That being said, this is the end for my alternate hunter. As you can see, I've already gone ahead and purchased all the survival gear for her, and we're going to go to the tower, and I'm going to dump all that stuff off. No, actually, I'm not going to dump all that stuff off. I'm just going to delete it because I don't need it. There's nothing. There's no point to having it. You know. Um, so let's see. That okay. So we don't need that. Just going to be nothing but resources here now. I don't know why I locked that. That was silly. Am I going to make a warlock? No. No, I'm not. In fact, I'm going to delete my Titan too because I just don't play him. Come on, hurry up. All right, and I don't think there's anything hunter in here. That's yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. So I'm ending this hunter pretty much where I decided to start playing a hunter again, and that would be because I did load. My first character was a Titan. Like I said, I mained a Titan for the first half of Destiny 1. Uh, and I decided I was going to build a hunter when I came down in underneath the Cosmodrome and saw those hive and realized that my Titan just doesn't get out of the way fast enough. There we go. Toodles. All right, now we're going to load up the Titan, and I'm going to purchase a set of survival gear for him, and then dump his little butt. Let's see how it has some. Yeah, here we go. And like I said, I mean, it's not that I don't enjoy playing these characters. It's just I just don't. Yeah, they just don't feel the same to me. It's kind of like you want to be an all-around, well-rounded musician. Okay, so you're really good at guitar. You're pretty decent with um, piano, but drums just kind of seem to escape you. Playing a Titan is like playing the drums. I can be okay with the drums. I'm okay. Actually, IRL, I'm pretty okay with drums. I'm all the time fucking beating my hands against, random percussive items around the studio. And so, I play on my. This is actually a two, well, a roughly almost a 2 foot tall cardstock sculpture of a robot that I'm building right now. And, he's got a pretty good, he's got a pretty good sound on him. He's mostly hollow. Um, but, maybe you suck at violin. You try all the time you can. You take the classes, you follow the mentor's advice and all that stuff, and you just can't get it because it's a timing thing, and there's a timing and a rhythm to each of the character classes, and I think that Bungie doesn't realize that that is the case, and but there are certain nuances in there, and you should be. Like, I haven't even gotten this guy's stasis abilities. That's how involved I was. So yeah, um, playing just the one hunter, the one character, I think that's probably going to be a good thing for me. I think in the end, it's going to free up my time for other things because I don't know. You can look me up on LightGG Artist Poet, and you probably see. I don't know. I know DestinyTracker.com used to do that. They used to list how many hours a player has played. I don't think there's anything in here. Bungie definitely doesn't want to let you know how many hours a week you're playing this game because then you might go like, "Holy crap, that's that's not natural." um, but yeah, so we're back to Hako Prime, and I think I'm going to be happy with that. I already finished my gunsmith bounties. We're gonna go do some Lake of Shadows to get a Taken boss and finish up the bow requirement for the daily strike bounties. And yeah, I think we're gonna be okay. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Ooh, that's a nice auto rifle. Unrelenting. I spoke too soon. This might be good in a horde situation, but this is better in the horde situation because I'm running around with global reach, and then I've got a empowered finish and a reactive pulse and a finisher bulwark. This is a really good mod, by the way. If you're doing arc in your helmet, uh, getting that overshield and a finisher. That's one of the reasons why I didn't do finishers for a very long time, or tried to avoid them unless they were like part of a critical bounty. Was because most times I'd end up being near death coming out of a finisher because all the other ads were attacking me. But now with wild charge with light, when you take damage while surrounded by enemies, you emit a burst of damage. So right there, that's perfect. That does getting getting an extra damage buff, or doing extra damage, or getting health or whatever. I really thought that the Komodo was going to be my linear fusion rifle, but this is actually so much better. And that's the other thing too. A lot of people kind of get all about sunsetting, and then yeah, it's going to be kind of sad to see certain guns no longer be viable. I mean, don't delete them if they've got a really nice record on them, or if you've got some connection to them. I mean, I've got some RPGs and some tabletop games in my closet that logically speaking, I should sell them off or trade them in or just donate them and make space for other things. but I've got a lot of fond memories attached to them. There's a nostalgia to it, and this game really, at this point now in its history, can fly a lot with the nostalgia thing. So it's going to be, yeah. So yeah, don't dump a gun if you really enjoyed it. Um, you know, but at the same time, don't be too precious about that particular piece of equipment because there will be better things. I, I remember this. This is actually a really good bow. It's not as good as some out there, but it's actually quite an enjoyable tool. Uh-huh. Wow, somebody went through here and just cleaned everything up. I don't know why they keep shooting off to the left. Let's see if I can. Oops. Oh, because I'm aiming left. That's a headshot. Get out of the way. Of course you wouldn't. Alright, we'll just do the old-fashioned. There. Is there another one? Yep. He didn't do the first one. Oops. Yeah. Oh. Well, that's alright. That's gonna be okay. Yeah, it's weapon parts and glimmer, so it all adds up eventually. This is gonna make my one-page vault challenge even easier because now I don't have the other characters. I don't have to worry about backstoring any kind of armor. I really would have thought that there'd be more ads out and about, but alright, that's enough of that. Let's get on with the strike. Anyway, so yeah, I won't be playing a Titan or a Warlock. I'll just do the one character. Let's see how far we go in this season. Let's see what we can get done. Um, Honestly, having the alternates probably wouldn't matter that much because all it's doing is getting me enhancement cores. And if I'm doing, the nightfalls and strikes and things like that, there are mods on your Ghost now that allow you to get enhancement cores, and I think that probably is a whole lot more efficient. And if I'm doing enough of the activities with my main, which of course I would be, um, there's always Spider who's going to be selling prisms and cores. So yeah, really, I mean, on the counterpoint, there's no reason to play multiple characters at all, unless of course you're power leveling, and I don't really power level. I mean, it's a goal, but it's not a driving force behind my gameplay. Level doesn't mean that much to me. And level means about in tiers in the order of importance for my character. Uh, Abilities are more important than anything else. Learning as much, gaining as many spells as you will as spells or special attacks is more important than anything else. Ooh, that's not natural looking. Um, and then, of course, in that category, just below it is weapons, and then armor. Getting the stat rolls I want is actually second most important. Getting the abilities unlocked, that's the most important thing. Getting the stat rolls you want is the next important thing. And then, of course, finding the proper platforms to support those stat rolls, like being armors and weapons, is the next important thing. Levels only really kind of come into play where you're in an activity that battle leveling is not prevalent. For instance, if you're in Crucible, don't worry about your levels. Everything's going to be ranked up and balanced out. People are going to be fighting at the same power level. It's all going to be about your skill and your stat points, and that's going to be about it, not including power levels, obviously. You're playing Trials, Iron Banner, Master Hunt, or heroic levels. Even heroic Nightfalls, you can get by at pretty much the seasonal floor. The seasonal floor for this season is, of course, 1060. Um, but you don't have to be at endgame levels in order to play endgame, and I've done that myself. And yes, you do have to rely a little bit more on skill and timing being a part of that, but you can do it, and it's not difficult. I think a lot of people hype up the activity levels in this game and the need for that extra boost of power level, but it really kind of doesn't. I mean, if I went into a private match against a person who was at 1260, um, it wouldn't mean shit. It really would. It'd just be about whether or not I got the shot, or he got the shot, or she got the shot, whatever. All right, here we go. Icarus Drifter's Boots. Let's see what we got here. It's probably going to be lower than what I have. That's 1250. That makes sense. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I'll do this strike all afternoon. Anyway, guys. So your thoughts, your comments. I'll leave this video up for a while, see what happens to it. I'll probably link it to a couple of Facebook groups that I'm in just to get their opinions. Um, and hopefully, maybe someday somebody will point me to the docs, or a bunch of devs will come out and specifically state why they're passive aggressively convincing everybody to play one of each class. And if that's, like I said, ultimately, if they really want us to play just only one of the character classes, then that should stop that shit at the character creation screen. You've already built a hunter. Please select another class. You've already built a titan. Please select another class. You know, it'd be, I mean, or just give us the 3 slots. There's a hunter, there's a titan, there's a warlock, then you can customize it. Body types, appearances and all that kind of fun stuff. Then, because this is all basically random cosmetic crap. It doesn't really mean anything. Um, and at least in my opinion, it doesn't mean anything. And honestly, in the gameplay, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, you get different dialogue if you play an Awoken, an Exo, or a human. I mean, if you talk with the Dreaming City characters as an Awoken, they call you cousin. If you deal with Clovis Bray now, after the raid as an Exo, he doesn't call you an intruder. Um, and I don't know if humans get any preferential treatment in the EDC or anything, but well, I have because I don't think I've ever played a human character. I think maybe once back in Destiny 1. But I don't know. I might go ahead and tinker around with the other 2 classes eventually. But I know. I mean, as for as much shade as hunters get, for as many buffs, for as many nerfs as we get, and for as many buffs as the other classes get against us, um, I think that says something about the hunter class. That it's always going to be a work in progress. I like being part of that. I like being part of that growth. I mean, maybe that's the real reason. No, that's not the real reason why I play hunters. I've always played the ranger, the rogue, the assassin, the hunter. I've always played that kind of character class, and it's my style of gameplay. It's even when I dungeon master in a game, the NPCs that I'll have my party encounter will be, the traveling bard or the rogue or the ranger, because it's a good way to get exposition dump. Because this is a person who's expected, to find the dark corners of the world and uncover the secret lore and things like that. I mean, it may be warlocks who compile the notebooks, but it's hunters out there digging around in digging around in the dark for that. So, a little credit where credit is due, I guess. And besides, I mean, who doesn't want to play an underdog? I mean, we did lose the Guardian games. You know, there's is it an edge lord class? Not really. I think warlocks are more edge lord, but that's just me just rambling now. So anyway, go check out the Twitch guys. They've got some really cool things going on today. Support your charities. Be mindful of the fact that all that research out there may be specifically for kids who are struggling through some really horrible events in their life, but that research trickles out and into all kinds of other things and facets of our life that you might not be aware of. Um, so, you know, go out and support your communities. Play the game. Have fun. Play for fun. And I will be talking with you guys later, I guess. I'm going to shut up now. Let some gameplay roll on here. I got about another 4 minutes.
We killed the guy in charge and his big scary blight.
When we have a common goal, civilians and Guardians can stand side by side and accomplish anything. Guardians, you're here. Excellent. Devram, are you linked up? I am. Good to hear your voice. Operation Stormcoat, go.
taken compromised a Red Legionary. It would explain how organized they've been. Without Oryx, I didn't think they could still, well, take.